Hello everybody and welcome back to another video here on Best of Both Worlds. Today we're going to be taking a ship tour of the Icon of the Seas. Starting out on deck number 3 aft, you got the Conference Center, which features 4 conference rooms named after Royal Caribbean classes of ships. This is the great place to go if you have a conference while on board. Right next to the Conference Center, you'll find one of 3 entrances into the main dining room. On deck 3 forward, you got Music Hall, which is a multi-level music venue featuring various music acts throughout the cruise. Also located on deck 3 forward is the Medical Center, and deck 3 also features staterooms as well. On deck 4 forward, you have the lower level to the Royal Theater, which is home to some of the Icon of the Seas shows, which include The Wizard of Oz. Right across from the Royal Theater on deck 4 is the upper level to Music Hall, the music venue on board the ship. Another cool feature in Music Hall are these TVs which look onto the stage, so that means that no matter where you're sitting inside the venue, you'll be able to see the stage. Right next to Music Hall is Casino Royale, which is one of the biggest casinos on board any cruise ship currently at sea. And another cool part about Casino Royale is that you can take the escalator up from deck 4 to deck 5, all the way up to the Royal Promenade. Finally, on deck 4 aft is another entrance to the main dining room, as well as additional staterooms. Deck 5 forward, you got one of the entrances to the Royal Promenade. First on the Royal Promenade, you have Solera Beauty, as well as Iffy. And right across from these 2 shops is Spotlight Karaoke, which is the ship's onboard karaoke venue. And also on the Royal Promenade is the Collection. Right across from the Collection is the shop and the Icon Marketplace, which is the ship's onboard logo shop, which features a bunch of Icon of the Seas merchandise, as well as some inaugural season merchandise, as well as Royal Caribbean Crown and Anchor merchandise as well. And in the middle of the Royal Promenade is the Pearl, which is a multi-deck structure. This is one of the first things you see when you embark the Icon of the Seas. This is definitely a very cool, just a thing in general, as it's sitting in the middle of the Royal Promenade, as well as it also has these cool movable panels that move in all different directions. And this is behind the Pearl. Now, since there isn't a real dedicated photo gallery on board the Icon of the Seas, this venue will help you with any of your photo needs. And next is Starbucks. And this Starbucks is basically just like every other Starbucks you can find on land, but at sea. Now, keep in mind that this Starbucks is not included in the cruise fare, and you will have to pay an extra cost. Next is the 1400 bar, which basically celebrates the ship's construction, as 1400 is the yard number for the Icon of the Seas. And right next to the 1400 bar is the escalators that can take you down to Casino Royale, as well as the gangway whenever the ship is docked at a port of call. Next is the port and shopping desk, which can give you details about any of the shops at the ports of call you visit. And real quick before we move on, I do want to point out the several art sculptures in the Royal Promenade. So this ship is different because it does not feature a car in the Royal Promenade, but instead once again features these art sculptures. Also on the Royal Promenade is Guest Services. Guest Services is open 24 hours a day and can assist you with anything you need. Now, featured on board Icon of the Seas in the Royal Caribbean app is a chat feature, so you do not need to go to Guest Services. Simply just open up the Royal Caribbean app, hit the chat feature for Guest Services, and you can chat with one of the representatives at Guest Services without needing to go down to Guest Services in person. Right across from Guest Services is the ship's onboard English pub, the Point of Feather. You can grab drinks here, as well as listen to some live music at the stage. This is definitely a pretty nice place to hang out before heading to dinner or seeing a show. Next is the Crown and Anchor Society Help Desk and Next Cruise, which can help you book your next Royal Caribbean cruise while on board the ship. So take advantage of the special deals as well as the reduced deposits you can only get on board. And also located on the Royal Promenade is Sorrento's, which is the ship's free onboard complimentary pizza restaurant. So this is the place where you're going to get the free pizza at. Finally, at the end of the Royal Promenade on Deck 5 aft is Pavilion on 5, which is a small watch and jewelry shop. And last but not least, on Deck 5 aft is another entrance into the main dining room. Before we continue on to Deck 6, I also do want to mention on Deck 5 is also the ship's jogging track, and you can also access the ship's fitness center via the ship's jogging track. This is probably one of the nicest jogging tracks I've ever seen on any other cruise ship at sea. And it definitely makes for some fantastic ocean views during your days at sea. Starting on Deck 6 forward is the entrance to the Crown Lounge. The Crown Lounge is a private lounge and can only be accessed for guests who are in the Crown and Anchor Society levels Diamond, Diamond Plus, and Pinnacle. And right behind the Crown Lounge is the upper deck to the Royal Promenade. Up first is the Dueling Pianos Piano Bar. This is a first of its kind venue on board any Royal Caribbean ship. So you can just come, grab a drink, and watch some dueling pianos. And next is one of the first specialty restaurants on this list. It's Giovanni's Italian Kitchen. So this is the specialty Italian restaurant here on board Icon of the Seas. So you can get various Italian foods as well as pizza. However, it will be an extra cost. Giovanni's Italian Kitchen is open for an upcharge every night for dinner as well as lunch on sea days. Right across from Giovanni's Italian Kitchen is the Pearl Cafe. It features one of the largest, if not the largest window at sea. This cafe features a bunch of things to eat, including stuff to eat for breakfast, as well as snacks throughout the day. You can also get coffee and juice and water here as well. The unique thing about this cafe is that it is open 24 hours a day. Right across from Pearl Cafe is the Vroom Internet Assistance Desk. Right next to that is Boleros, which is the Latin-themed nightclub here on board the Icon of the Seas. And right across from Boleros is a signature on board every single Royal Caribbean ship. It is the Schooner Bar, which is the nautical-themed bar and lounge on board every single Royal Caribbean ship, including the Icon of the Seas. Last but not least, at the aft of Deck 6 at the end of the Royal Promenade is Pavilion on 6, which is another watch and jewelry shop. At the aft of Deck 6, first you got the Park West Art Gallery as well as another store called 6th and Main. And right behind that is Playmaker Sports Bar and Arcade, which is the ship's onboard sports bar and grill. Now the food here is a extra cost, and it also does feature some arcade games. However, the arcade games are an extra cost as well. And last but not least, on Deck 6 is the entrance to Absolute Zero, which is the ship's 360-degree ice rink. This venue is also home to the signature show, Starburst Elemental Beauty. Starting on Deck 7, Deck 7 consists of mostly staterooms. However, on Deck 7 is one of the entrances into one of the special themed neighborhoods here on board the Icon of the Seas, Surfside. First at Surfside is the Surfside Eatery, which is one of the secondary buffets here on board the Icon of the Seas. And next is the ship's arcade. So this is a decently sized arcade here at Surfside. Now keep in mind that the arcade games are an extra cost to play. Next is Sugar Beach, which is the ship's onboard candy store. Next is Surfside Bites, which serves up some of your favorite things to eat, such as hot dogs and french fries. Next is the ship's carousel. That's right, the Icon of the Seas features a full carousel at Surfside. Next is Sprinkles, which is one of the free complimentary ice cream places on board Icon of the Seas. Across from Sprinkles is a kids' playground. Next is Pier 7, which is one of the upcharged restaurants on board Icon of the Seas. Up next is the Splash Away and Baby Bay pools, which is basically a mini water playground here on board the Icon of the Seas in Surfside. Next is the Lemon Post Bar, which features alcoholic as well as non-alcoholic drinks. And last but not least is the Water's Edge Pool, which features scenic views of the wake of the Icon of the Seas. Starting on Deck 8 forward, first off in this beautiful elevator lobby. First on Deck 8 you got more staterooms. However, also on Deck 8 is the Empire Supper Club. So this is a first on any Royal Caribbean ship. It is a multi-course dinner venue and it's a great place to eat. Now, it can get a little pricey sometimes. However, if you do get the chance to eat at the Empire Supper Club, definitely book it because it is one nice dinner venue. And next on Deck 8 in the midship part of the ship is Central Park, one of the most unique neighborhoods on board any Royal Caribbean ship or any cruise ship at sea, as it is one of the world's only floating parks at sea. First up in Central Park is Azumi Sushi and Hibachi. So this is going to be the Sushi and Hibachi restaurant, as well as Azumi in the Park, which is a first time on any Royal Caribbean ship take-out sushi restaurant. Next is Chops Grill, the signature steakhouse here on board Icon of the Seas with a very nice outdoor sitting area. Next is Travis Bar. Up next is Park Cafe, which is open for the majority of the day and features things such as cold foods as well as sandwiches. Next is a collection of jewelry and watch stores. Also on Central Park is a big glass window which you can look into the Royal Promenade below, as well as the ocean outside the windows at Pearl Cafe. And last but not least is Lou's Jazz and Blues, which is the ship's onboard jazz club. Finally, on Deck 8 aft is another entrance into Surfside, as well as another store called Sunshine and Sundries. Decks 9, 10, 11, and 12 feature only staterooms. Deck 14 also features mostly staterooms. However, on Deck 14 forward is the entrance to the Vitality Spa, and on Deck 14 aft is the ship's model. On Deck 15 forward is another neighborhood here on board the Icon of the Seas. It is the Aquadome neighborhood. Now, the Aquadome is also a indoor complex, which is home to the first indoor aqua theater at sea on any Royal Caribbean ship, and is home to the Aqua Action Show. This is definitely a very good show and a must-see and a must-do on board the Icon of the Seas. First up in the Aquadome is Royal Bling. This is a jewelry store just solely dedicated to Royal Caribbean. So you can get really just about any Royal Caribbean piece of jewelry here at this store. Also here at the store, you can get the Royal Gauntlet, which if you do buy it, you get a unlimited lifetime free ultimate deluxe beverage package. And next is Hooked Seafood, which is the ship's onboard specialty seafood restaurant. And up next is the Aquadome Market, which is basically a mini food court and features a variety of free, fast, complimentary food options. And next is the Rhine and Bean. And last but not least in the Aquadome is the Overlook. This is basically a 180-degree room with a big, tall window. So basically, this is just a spot at the front of the ship. You can just come, hang out, and just watch the ship sail throughout the Caribbean, as well as watching it pull in and out of the various ports you will visit throughout the cruise. This is definitely my favorite part of the ship, and they also had these cool little unique pods you could go up and sit in as well. This is definitely probably one of the most underrated spots on the whole ship, and definitely once again was my favorite part of the ship. And now heading out onto the pool deck, first and foremost we got some nice enclosed ping pong tables, as well as one of 3 lime and coconut bars here on board the Icon of the Seas. And next is the Royal Bay Pool, which is the largest pool at sea currently. And next is El Loco Fresh, which is a complimentary Mexican buffet style outdoor restaurant. And next is a little play area which features nets which you can sit and relax on, as well as tire swings which you can swing on as well throughout the day. And in between deck 15 and deck 16 is a mini little dry slide. Now this dry slide is a pretty cool and unique way to get between deck 16 and decks 15 pretty quick and fast. And now starting on deck 16 and heading outside, first and foremost you got the Swim and Tonic Bar, which is the first swim up bar on any cruise ship at sea. And on deck 16 midship you have these casitas which you can rent on any sea or port day while on the cruise, as well as a band shell which plays live music throughout the day. And also in this area is a overlook into the Cove Pool, which is one of the other main pools featured on deck 15. Further back on deck 16 is the entrance to the Crown's Edge, which is one of the best attractions here on board the Icon of the Seas. However, please keep in mind that this attraction does cost extra. And right next to the Crown's Edge is the rock climbing wall. And before continuing on, also located on deck 16 is the Frozen Bar for the lime and coconut, as well as continuing back to deck 15 Sprinkles, the other complimentary ice cream stand. And continuing back on deck 16 past the rock climbing wall is Base Camp, which is another quick stand option here on board the Icon of the Seas, and also features some included and extra cost eating options. And climbing the stairs next to Base Camp would take you all the way up to the Sports Court, which is a multi-purpose venue. So sometimes they'll be open to play basketball as well as pickleball, soccer, and much more. And now heading into the Thrill Island neighborhood, first up is the Deserted Milkshake Bar, which features a variety of milkshakes for an extra cost. And one of the most anticipated and amazing attractions here on board the Icon of the Seas is the Category 6 water park, which features 6 water slides. This is definitely one of the most cool and unique spots on board any cruise ship, as it is once again the first water park at sea, and also features some of the first raft slides at sea as well. And also right across from the Category 6 water park is Lost Dunes, which in my opinion is one of the best mini golf courses at sea. And on the aft of this deck, you also have the Flow Rider, which is a signature Royal Caribbean favorite, and the Hideaway, which is the adults only area on board the ship. And last but not least, on deck 17 is Cloud 17. So Cloud 17 is the upper pool deck, and it features more deck space as well as another pool and the upper deck of the Lime and Coconut. Thank you guys so much for watching this Icon of the Seas ship tour. If you did enjoy this video, please make sure you hit that like and subscribe button and hit the bell icon to be notified whenever I upload a brand new video. Anyway guys, thank you guys so much for watching, and until next time, we'll see you real soon.